Honey, want to try? Come here.
Ready? Good. Good idea. Right, right.
The coffee very hot? Very, very hot, huh?
Huh? Because I had the cover and the milk way the coffee so it's hot. I'm sorry.
If you're not horrible, you know. But if you are horrible, then go to hell. You deserve to go to hell. Don't, don't, don't bring my name down there with you. You go down to hell. Don't bring my name there. I've been to hell enough. I'm not going back. All right? I'm not going back. You go to hell. So everybody, we are coming up on our end of the month fundraiser. So we just have a couple of days left, or a day or two left before our end of the month fundraiser. So you're welcome to make a donation in ahead of time if you're planning to support our monthly fundraiser this month. This is it. This is it. I think we might be overheating or something. I'm retired. I retired at 33 years old, okay?
My conversations with Donald Hoffman, Rupert Spira, and Bernardo Kastrup have been watched over 500,000 times. I loved having them. But since my Ken show 10 months ago, I literally cannot have those types of conversations anymore. Not because they're wrong, but because it appears that presence has no interest in talking about consciousness. And
It's so stupid. That guy is so stupid. If we have any millionaires out there, any millionaires watching, if you would like to sponsor me for a $5,000 boating trip with Steven Snyder, who's this really interesting Zen master I've looked at, American Zen master. He's doing a once in a lifetime retreat that's going to be hosted on a barge traveling through Vietnam and Cambodia. So it's going to be a 10-day retreat from November 5th to the 15th. Maybe that millionaire could pay for both of us, and we could go there together, okay? And it is So the cost, the first 12 people are going to get a $500 discount. And if we pay up front, we'll get a 5% discount. It's 24 guests, so it's limited to 24 guests. We're going to be on a French colonial barge traveling through the Mekong Delta, and it would have private cabin. So it has all the meals, all the staff, luxury accommodations, beverages, gourmet dining, all the transportation covered. So $5,000 a pop, 11 days and 10 nights. So any millionaires out there, let's go. Let's me and you go together for that, okay? Pretty cool. I would go if it wasn't $5,000, but hopefully we'll get one of our millionaires to decide that that's valuable. Oh my God, that's insane, Snarf. Yeah, that's crazy. But sometimes you got the money, you can spend the money. You got to understand that. If you got money does not have a solid value. I want you to understand that. Money for the person has a changing value depending on how much money you have. So for example, you might have a couple $100 in your bank account, right? But you're not very shy about filling up your gas. Well, if you have a couple $100, you're living moment to moment, right? But let's say you're in the convenience store. You're gonna buy a little bit of Doritos, right? It's okay. So at that economic amount that you have, Doritos, you buy Doritos freely. When someone has $100,000 in the bank or $500,000 in the bank or whatever, or $1 million in the bank, they could buy a car in the same way that you buy Doritos. Do you understand that? Do you understand that principle? I hope that you do. This is very simple. Yeah, Snarfville, that's right. $5,000 to a millionaire is like $5 to a grandmother, 100%. So our society should actually be built around that principle, and then collective good is prioritized over personal power, this super personal wealth. Because they don't need that much stuff, because human beings have particular needs according to their bodies and their minds, their families. So it's not a game about, well, it's okay if I have $1 million while these people are getting by with $100 or whatever. We just got to cut that out. If you redistributed all the money and the resources in America and made it egalitarian, people would be fucking living wealthy as all hell. People would live a very wealthy life in America if the resources and everything was just redistributed according to people's needs and people's abilities. That's what our government should be there. Our government should be there for redistributing excess resources according to ability and need. That's what the government should be there for. So you make an application. If you need like a really nice computer, you just send an application to the government and they give you the fucking money if you need it. All this money for weapons and all that, it's horrible. It's, I agree. It's the worst that people could ever do. Yeah, the government distributes scarcity instead of distributing the postness, the benefits of being post-scarcity. Well, everyone would be average in terms of comparing themselves to others. That's why we go from a competition-oriented society to a collaborative-oriented society. When we stop competing with each other, it's not a big problem anymore that we're equal to other people, because we don't have to compete with them as much anymore. Who worked for the rain? Who worked for the water? Was it the people who bottled the water? Or did God give us the water? You ask yourself that. There's, well, basically, we create a system of starting where we are. So the economic situation of Vietnam is already the way that it is. So that's where they start. They build on that. The economic situation of America is where it is. So it starts and it builds on that. So we're not throwing out the baby with the bathwater. We're not throwing out all our wealth. We're just taking an entirely different look about how we're using wealth. Right now, we use wealth for privatization. We use wealth to go up in the hierarchy of power in society and control. You understand? There's nothing wrong with aesthetic competition. There's a lot wrong with financial, material, social competition. Systems are good enough. And most people don't have access to those systems anyway. So the justification is a double-edged sword. We're allowed to destroy the world because that's going to help us save it. You see what I'm saying? What I'm saying is stop. And let's rethink this whole situation. That's what they say. That's what I heard, Sklerm. I heard it's going to happen in October or winter. I think that's what Master Yonghua said, winter of 2027. I think that's what he said. They've been talking about this for a while, so it's going to happen soon. It's going to be happening soon for sure. And maybe that happening is what's going to create this further change over the next 10, 20 years. But it's going to be happening very soon. I can assure you of that. I have that on good authority. It's actually already started to happen. How is it going to affect America? I couldn't tell you so much about that. But it's coming. And it's going to be big. It's going to be very, very big. My guess, my bet is that it has something to do with AI, but it could be something else. Could be the use of a nuclear weapon. There could be the use of a nuclear weapon in winter of 2027. There could be a use of a nuclear weapon on America in the winter of 2027. change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
These are meditation songs, young man. Let the waves rise, let the waves fall. Help us remember I'm part of it all. Not only the waves, but the whole sea. Help me remember I'm already free. Let the waves rise, let the waves fall. Help me remember we're part of it all. Not only the waves, but the whole sea. Help us remember we're already free. Sometimes the summer reminds me of the fall. How death and loss are part of it all. So teach me to let light fall when it's time to let go of it all. Let the waves rise, let the waves fall. Help me remember we're part of it all. Not only the waves, but the whole sea. Help me remember I'm already free. Let the waves rise, let the waves fall. Help me remember we're part of it all. Not only the waves, but the whole sea. Help us remember we're already free. Let the waves rise, let the waves fall. Help me remember I'm part of it all. Not only the waves, but the whole sea. Help me remember I'm already free. Let the rise, let the waves fall. Help me remember we're part of it all. Not only the waves, but the whole sea. Help me remember we're already free. So it's a song about meditation. We find ourselves mentally, or at least I do, trying to gather up all the falling leaves, trying to, hang on, or it's like you're standing under a tree in the fall. All the leaves are falling. And some of the leaves you're trying to take and put in your pocket. Some of the leaves you're trying to write a message on. And then I find myself a lot, I'm swatting at the leaves. Just learn how to let the waves of the leaves falling happen without being involved with it.
Tree looked like a brain. The birds within were all the thoughts and desires within me. Hopping around from branch to branch, or snug in their nests, listening in. Came over the horizon and shook the branches with its sight. The softer thoughts, starlings, finches, and wrens, the softer thoughts, they all took flight. The eagle looked clear through the brain tree. Empty, he thought, save for me. Maybe I'll make this one my home. Consolidate the nests of the tiny. Raise a family of might like me. Then something struck him, wings of bone. Sweet desires and soft thoughts were all gone. The eagle shrieked, I'm alone. Well, it was time to flee the tree. The eagle snuck our time. Being Sky King of the to some beast, I pray to some beast. All thoughts are prey to some beast. All thoughts are prey to some beast.
All previous understanding should be excluded, emptied, with no more false conceptions. Then this is the empty treasury of realization. This treasury of realization has nothing at all that can be possessed. This is the spiritual leader breaking through existence, appearing in the world. There was nothing at all to get from the burning lamp Buddha. This saying is just to empty your subjective intellectual understanding. Just melt down the subjective sense of outside and inside completely, to have no dependent clinging at all, and you are people without issues. The teachings of the three vehicles are just medicines corresponding to needs, expounded as appropriate, prescribed for the occasion, not the same for each individual. As long as you can realize this, you won't be confused. Above all, don't stick partially to the letter of one teaching for one need and make that out to be understanding. Why? Because there is really no fixed doctrine that the realized one could expound. This school of mind does not make this claim. Just know how to stop the mind and you're at rest. You don't need to think of the past and mull over the future anymore. From olden times, everyone has said mind itself is Buddha. Which mind is itself Buddha? How many minds do you have? Is the ordinary mind Buddha, or is the sage's mind Buddha? Where do you have ordinary and sage minds? Now in the three vehicles, it says there are the ordinary and the sage. How can you say there are not? In the three vehicles, it clearly tells you that the idea of ordinary and sage is false. Now you don't understand, and instead hold them to exist. You take the empty to be actual. Isn't this wrong? Because it is false, it misleads your mind. Just eliminate the sense of the ordinary or the object of sagehood. Outside of mind, there is no Buddha besides. The founding teacher came from the West and directly pointed out that the totality of all people is Buddha. Now you don't recognize this. You cling to ordinary, cling to sage, and go running outside, contrarily missing mind on your own. This is why you are told that mind itself is Buddha. The moment subjectivity arises, you fall into different tendencies. Beginningless time does not differ from today. There is no different truth, so it is called equivalent true awakening.
Falsehood can block one's own mind. Now, how is falsehood eliminated? Producing falsehood to eliminate falsehood also amounts to falsehood. Falsehood basically has no root. It only exists because of subjective thought. Just end all sense of both ordinary and holy, and there will naturally be no falsehood to aim at, how to eliminate it anymore. Don't have any dependence or grasping at all. This is referred to by the saying, "If I give up both arms, I will surely attain Buddhahood." If there's no dependence or grasping, what is to be transmitted? Mind is communicated by mind. If mind is communicated, why do you say there is no mind? Not grasping anything is called communicating mind. If you realize this mind, then this is having no mind and no doctrine. If there is no mind and no doctrine, how can it be called communication? You hear tell of communicating mind, and take it to mean there is something that can be obtained. This is why a founding teacher said, when you realize the essence of mind, it can be said to be inconceivable. Comprehending perfectly, nothing is obtained. When you get it, you don't say you know. If you are taught this matter, how could you bear it? How could the space between our eyes not be an object? Aren't you pointing to an object to see mind? What mind are you told to see in an object? Even if you can see it, this is just the mind aware of objects. It is like using a mirror to see your face. Even if you can see your features clearly, after all, it's just a reflection. What does it have to do with you? If we don't rely on perception, when can we ever see? If it's a matter of reliance, you will always need to depend on things. When will you ever be done? When I tell you to let go, it's like you have nothing at all, yet you expend effort blabbering all sorts of stuff. If one has discerned it, is there nothing to perception? If there were no things, what would be the use of perception? Don't go on talking in your sleep with your eyes open. A lot of knowledge of 100 kinds is not as good as having no seeking. This is foremost. People of the way are people without issues. There really are not so many kinds of mind, and no principle to speak of. Go away untroubled. What is the worldly truth? Why are you talking about complications? Why does original purity need verbal explanation or questions and answers? Just have no mind at all. This is called wisdom without affliction. If in your everyday activity and speech, just do not stick to artificial things, and speaking and blinking are all the same as the state without affliction. At present, the ending of true teaching is going on. Most of those who study the way of Zen stick to all the verbalization and forms. Why not be mentally like space, same as me? Be like dead wood or rocks, like cold ashes, extinguished fires. Only then will you have some accord. Otherwise, someday you'll certainly all be tortured by the King of Death. Just detach from all things, existent or non-existent, and your mind will be like the sun always in the sky, the light naturally shining without trying to shine. This is not a matter of sparing effort. When you get here, there is nowhere to stay. This is doing the deeds of all Buddhas. This is activating the mind without dwelling on anything. This is your pure reality body. It's called unexcelled enlightenment. If you don't understand this meaning, even if you learn a lot of knowledge and diligently labor at cultivating practice, wearing plants and eating from trees, if you don't know your own mind, it is all called false practice. You will surely become cohorts of the celestial devil. What is the benefit of cultivating practice like this? Mr. Z said, Buddha is basically made by one's own mind. How can you find it in writings? Even if you learn the 3 jewels of wisdom, 4 fruits, and fulfillment of the 10 stages, you're still sitting inside the ordinary and the holy. Haven't you seen it said, all actions are impermanent? These are phenomena that arise and perish. When their momentum is exhausted, arrows fall. How can bringing on future dissatisfaction compare to the gateway of uncontrived truth, directly entering the state of the realized in a single bound? Because you are not such a person, you have to turn to the temporary teaching methods of people of old to make extensive study of knowledge and understanding. Mr. Z said, if you don't meet an enlightened guide beyond the world, you ingest the medicines of the great vehicle at random. Now, in all your conduct at all times, whether active or still, sitting or lying down, just learn to have no mind. At length, you will actually attain it. It is just because you have little strength that you cannot transcend all at once. Just take 3 years, or 5 years, or even 10 years, and you should gain entry and spontaneously understand. Because you cannot do so, you need to mindfully study Chan, study the way. What has this got to do with Buddhahood? This is why it is said, what the realized one says is all to develop people. It is like pretending yellow leaves are gold to stop a child's crying. It is certainly not real. If you have actually acquired anything, you are not in our school. And what does it have to do with your fundamental essence? Therefore, Scripture says, there is nothing really at all to be attained. This is called unexcelled enlightenment. If you understand what this means, then you'll know what the path of the Buddhas and the path of the devils that are both off. Original purity, thoroughly clear, has no such features as square or round, no great or small, no long or short. It has no affliction, no effort, no confusion, and no enlightenment. With perfect clarity, you see there is not a single thing, neither any person nor any Buddha. The universe is a bubble in an ocean. All saints and sages are like a flash of lightning. All of them do not compare to the true reality body of mind. It is equal to the Buddhas and masters of all times. Where is it lacking at all? Once you have understood what this means, you must work diligently all your life. When you breathe out, that doesn't guarantee you will breathe in. The sixth patriarch of Zen didn't understand the scriptures. Why did he inherit the robe and become the patriarch? Elder Shenzui was at the head of 500 monks, acting as a mentor, able to lecture on 32 scriptures and treatises. Why didn't he inherit the robe? Answer: because Shenzui had intent, and these were constructed teachings. What he cultivated and what he realized he thought was right. That's why the fifth patriarch entrusted the sixth patriarch. At the time, the sixth patriarch just attained silent accord and got the most profound meaning of the realized one, which is handed on mystically. That is why the fifth patriarch entrusted the teaching to him. Haven't you seen it said? The teaching basically has no doctrine as a rule. The teaching of no doctrine is also a teaching. Now that no doctrine is imparted, when has taking a doctrine for a rule ever been a rule? If you understand what this means, only then can you be called a true leaver of home. Only then should you cultivate practice. If you don't believe, how was it that when Elder Ming came running to the peak of Mount Daiyu pursuing the sixth patriarch asked him, "What did you come looking for? Are you looking for the robe or for the teaching?" Elder Ming said, "I didn't come for the robe, I've only come for the teaching." The sixth patriarch said, "Rein in your thoughts for a moment. Don't think of either good or evil." Ming accepted his words. The sixth patriarch said, "Not thinking of good, not thinking of evil, right at such a time, bring me back your likeness before your father and mother gave birth to you." At these words, Ming suddenly attained silent accord. He then bowed and said, "It is like someone drinking water, knowing for himself whether it is cool or warm." When I was in the congregation of the fifth patriarch, I misapplied 30 years' effort. Now I have finally realized my error. The sixth patriarch said, "So it is." When you attain this, then you know what the founding teachers coming from the West, directly pointing to people's minds so they see the essence and become Buddha, is not in verbal explanation. Haven't you seen how Ananda asked Kasyapa? Besides handing on the golden-sleeved robe, what did the world-honored one hand on? Kashyapa called, "Ananda!" Ananda responded. Kashyapa said, "Take down the monastery banner in front of the gate." This is the sign of the founding teachers. How did it come about that Ananda was Buddha's attendant for 30 years just for learning and knowledge? He was scolded by Buddha. For you to study knowledge for 1,000 days is not as good as learning the way for 1 day. If you don't learn the way, even a drop of water will be hard to digest. How can we not fall into stages? Eating all day without ever chewing a single grain of rice. Walking all day without stepping on a single bit of ground. At such a time, there are no such descriptions as others and self. All day long, not leaving all affairs, yet not being confused by objects. Only then can you be called independent. Furthermore, at all times, moment to moment, you do not see any descriptions. Don't take notice of past, present, and future. The past does not leave. The present doesn't stay. The future doesn't come. Sit straight at peace, not caught up in whatever happens. Only then is it called liberation. Work hard, work hard. Out of 1,000 or 10,000 in this school, I've only found 3 or 5 individuals. If you don't make it your task, someday you will have trouble. So it is said, apply effort in this life and you should finish. Who can suffer leftover trouble for ages on end? Although there are many fish in the same ocean, it does not mean that they are the same. Prime Minister Pei asked the teacher, "Of the 400 or 500 people on this mountain, how many get your teaching?" The teacher said, "There's no telling how many get it. Why? The way is realized in the mind. How could it be in talk? Talk is just to develop the immature." What is Buddha? Mind itself is Buddha. Not minding is the way. Just let there be no arousal of mind or excitation of thought. No minding of long and short, others and self, subject and object, and so on. The mind is originally like space. You don't need to specially seek. Seeking is all suffering. Even if you carry out the 6 ways of transcendence and 10,000 practices to attain the enlightenment of Buddhas, that is still not the ultimate. Why? Because it is contrivance in the domain of conditioning. When conditions come to an end, it returns to impermanence. That is why it is said, reward and emanation are not the real Buddha and not what expounds the truth. Just know your own mind with no self and no other. It is originally Buddha. When sages are mindless, they are Buddhas. But when ordinary people are mindless, don't they sink into empty quietism? In truth, there is no ordinary or sage, and no quietism. Truth is fundamentally not existent, but don't see it as non-existent. Truth is fundamentally not non-existent, but don't see it as existent. Existence and non-existence are both subjective views. They are like illusory cataracts. That is why it is said, perception is like illusory cataracts. Cognition is sentient being. In the Chan school, we just talk about stopping impulses and forgetting views. Then, when you stop impulses, the way of Buddhas flourishes. When you think falsely, the army of devils rages. If the mind is originally Buddha, does one still cultivate the myriad practices of the 6 ways of transcendence? Enlightenment is in the mind. It has nothing to do with the myriad practices of the 6 ways of transcendence. The myriad practices of the 6 ways of transcendence are all developmental methods. They are about dealing with people to deliver the living. Even awakening, reality as such, ultimate truth, liberation, the body of reality, as well as the 10 stages, 4 fruitions, and ranks of the saints, are methods of deliverance. They have nothing to do with the Buddha mind. Mind itself is Buddha. Therefore, the Buddha mind is foremost among all methods of deliverance. Just have no thoughts as birth and death or affliction, and you don't need teachings such as awakening. Therefore it is said, Buddha expounded all the teachings to get over all our thoughts. If we don't have any thoughts at all, what need is there for all the teachings? From the Buddhas to the patriarchs, none of them discussed anything other than one mind, also called one vehicle. Therefore, you may search everywhere, but there is no other vehicle. This congregation has no branches or leaves, only the substantial core. Therefore, the meaning of this is hard to believe. When Bodhidharma came to this land, he went to both nations of Lang and Wei. But there was only one man, Great Master K, who impersonally had faith in his own mind. He immediately understood when told the mind itself is Buddha. When mind and body are both nothing, this is called the Great Way. The Great Way is originally egalitarian. Hence, the profound faith that living beings have the same one true essential nature. Mind and essential nature are not different. Essential nature is identical to mind. When mind doesn't differ from essential nature, this is called mastery. So it is said, when you recognize the essence of mind, it can be called inconceivable.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Salutation to the Buddha, homage to the blissful one, the worthy, wonderfully enlightened one. Homage to the blissful one, the worthy. Homage to the blissful one, the worthy. Wonderfully enlightened one. Homage to the blissful
one, the worthy one, the fully enlightened one. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Salutation to the Buddha, homage to the blissful one, the worthy one, the fully enlightened one. Homage to the blissful one, the worthy one, the fully enlightened one. Homage to the blissful one, the worthy one, the fully enlightened one. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Doesn't Buddha deliver sentient beings? There are really no sentient beings for the realized one to deliver. Even self cannot be found. how can non-self be found? How can you say there is no such thing as appearing in the 32 marks of distinction and delivering sentient beings? All marks are illusory. If you see all appearances are not definitive, then you see the realized. Buddhas and sentient beings are all false views you fabricate, simply because you do not know your own original mind. You deceptively fabricate opinions and interpretations. As soon as you make up a notion of Buddha, you are obstructed by Buddha. When you make up a notion of sentient beings, you are obstructed by sentient beings. When you make up notions such as ordinary and holy, pure and polluted, they all become obstructions. Because they obstruct your mind, they all become vicious cycles. It is like monkeys letting go of one and grabbing another, with no end in sight. All alike is learned. You simply should be free of what is learned. There is no ordinary, no holy, no purity, no defilement, no great, no small, no affliction, no fabrication. In a unified mind like this, if you expediently strive to adorn it, you may learn the 12-part teaching of the three vehicles. All opinionated interpretation should be abandoned. That is why Vimalakirti removed what he had and only put one bed where he lay resting in illness. This is just not producing any views. There is not a single thing that can be grasped. Not being obstructed by anything, passing through to liberation beyond the boundaries of ordinary and holy states in the three realms, only then can you be called a Buddha beyond the world. That is why it is said, I bow to the space-like, independent, beyond all other ways. Once the mind does not vary, reality does not vary either. Once the mind has no contrivance, reality is also uncontrived. All things change according to mind. Therefore, when our minds are empty, all things are empty. 1,000 kinds, myriad types, all are the same. The realm of space in the 10 directions is the same one nature of mind. The mind fundamentally does not differ, and truth does not differ either. It is just because your views and interpretations are not the same that they differ. It is like when the gods eat from the same bowl, the color of the food differs according to their qualities. The Buddhas of the 10 directions really have nothing at all to attain. This is called unexcelled enlightenment. They are just one mind. They really have no different characteristics and no colors. It has no superiority or inferiority either. Because there is no sign of superiority, there is no appearance of Buddhahood. Because there is no inferiority, there is no appearance of sentient beings. If the mind has no appearance, is it possible that there are utterly no 32 marks of greatness and 80 refinements developing and delivering sentient beings? The 32 marks are in the province of description, and all descriptions are illusory. The 80 refinements are in the province of form. If they see me in terms of form, these people are traveling a false path and cannot see the realized. Are the nature of Buddhas and the nature of sentient beings the same or different? Essential nature has neither sameness nor difference. According to the doctrine of the three vehicles, They say there is a Buddha nature and a nature of sentient beings. Consequently, there are cause and effect of the three vehicles, so there is sameness and difference. According to the Buddha vehicle and the tradition of the ancestral teachers, they don't say such things. There is only one mind, neither same nor different, neither cause nor effect. That is why it is said that there is only this one vehicle, no second or third, except as explained by Buddha expediently.
You don't have to know the way knows the way. You don't have to plan the way, trust the way, feel your way. The way knows, the way knows, the way knows the way. You don't have to know the way knows the way. You don't have to plan the way, trust the way, feel your way. The way knows, the way knows, the way knows the way. You don't have to know the way knows the way. You don't have to plan the way, trust the way, feel your way. The way knows, the way knows, the way knows the way. You don't have to know the way knows, the way knows, the way knows the way. You don't have to know the way knows the way. You don't have to plan the way, trust the way, feel your way. The way knows, the way knows, the way knows the way. You don't have to know the way knows the way. You don't have to plan the way, trust the way, feel your way. The way knows, the way knows, the way knows the way. You don't have to know the way knows the way. You don't have to plan the way, trust the way, feel your way. The way knows, the way knows, the way knows the way. You don't have to know the way knows the way. You don't have to plan the way, trust the way, feel your way. The way knows, the way knows, the way knows the way. All you need is love, 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 love. All you need is 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 love, love, love. All you step into the moment, let yourself free now. All you need is loving. Find your way. All you need is a little bit of love inside of you. Carry it like a light, I say. And this love will carry you through. All you need is love, love, love. 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 All you need is love, all you need is love, love. down your worries. Oh, oh, oh. Just take the time to stay with me. If you just breathe for a moment, then let go and release. Ooh. I don't know what I know, all I know is you need a bit of love to get your love. I don't know what I know, all I know is you need a bit of love to get your love. I don't know what I know, all I know is you need a bit of love to get your love. I don't know what I know, all I know is you need a bit of love to make your love. I don't know what I know, all I know is you need a bit of love to get your love. I don't know